Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to create the form validation using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. First I'll show you the demo of the page. Then we will jump into the Visual Studio Code and start code writing. So you can see that I have a demo page, and in the demo page I have three fields: username, email and password. First I'll show you the demo of the form validation. You can see that first I will leave the username as a First, I will leave the username field as a blank and add some value in this field. Go with game dot and add some data here. And if I try to submit, so you can see that please enter name. ठीक है, तो ये हमसे कह रहा है कि आप अपना नाम डालो. ठीक है, और अगर कोई यूजर इसके ऊपर आता है और कोई अनवैलिड डेटा डाल देता है कुछ इस टाइप का, so this error message was changed, and when he was trying to submit this page, the error message was changed. So you can see that please enter a valid data. Okay, validation of our username. If I try to leave this field blank and add some value here, so you can see that this is the custom error message from the HTML. Okay, and if I add some value here and leave this password field blank, so you can see that please enter password. This is the form validation, and when everything was correct, so my form was submitted, and you can see that the error was gone and the data was clean up. Okay, so that's the demo of form validation. So that's the demo page of the form validation. So now let's jump into the Visual Studio Code and start writing code. So guys, now I'm in my Visual Studio Code, और आप देख सकते हो कि मैंने यहाँ पर कुछ पहले कोड लिखा हुआ है, वो मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ मैंने क्या लिखा हुआ है. तो यहाँ पर देख सकते हो मेरे पास एक फॉर्म वैलिडेशन का पेज है. One thing I'll tell you, I'm not covering up the design part in this video. The motive of this video is to clear the concepts of related to the form validation, not in design. But I'll provide all the source code in the description. You can check out on my website and copy and paste these all of these source code. But I'll explain you. I have you can see that I have three files here: HTML, CSS and the JavaScript. So first talked about related to HTML. So you can see that I have two SVG shapes like this and this one. ओके, और ये मैंने यहाँ से जनरेट किया है. आप लोग भी कर सकते हो, ये बिल्कुल फ्री है. आप यहाँ पे लिखोगे ब्राउजर के ऊपर SVG शेप जनरेटर. ठीक है, तो आपको ये पहली वेबसाइट मिलेगी. इसके ऊपर आप जाके अपनी कस्टम जनरेट कर सकते हो और आप यूज़ कर सकते हो अपनी वेबसाइट के अंदर. एंड यू कैन एक्सपोर्ट दिस शेप्स इन डिफरेंट फॉर्मेट्स लाइक PNG, SVG एंड SVG. ओके, so I'm using these shapes here and here. So this is the code of the SVG images, and this is our main container. This is the name of container. Inside this container I have h1 tag and one form tag. Attributes on form like action and on submit. For action was blank and on submit we have written some values. आपको मैं भी थोड़ी देर में समझाता हूँ इसके बारे में. And you can see that I have a one more div here, user input, and inside the div I have a two fields input. I have two input field like username and the email, and one was the password. And inside and the below I have an error button div, and inside the div I have a submit button and the ID and the paragraph tag which will show the error message. ओके, जैसा कि आपने देखा था मेरे यहाँ पर एरर मैसेज आ रहा था, तो ये पैराग्राफ टैग उसी चीज़ के लिए है. ठीक है, और ये हमारा बटन है. ओके, सो ये हमारा डिज़ाइन है थोड़ा सा. ठीक है, CSS आपको जितनी भी CSS अगर बात करें CSS की, तो all the codes are given in the description on my website. You can चेकआउट कर सकते हो, वहाँ पर जाकर आप कॉपी पेस्ट कर सकते हो. एंड यू कैन सी दैट माय जावास्क्रिप्ट फाइल वाज टोटली ब्लैंक, क्योंकि हम जावास्क्रिप्ट का कोड जितना भी होगा सबका सब साथ लिखने वाले हैं. ठीक है, you can see the demo of this page and we have the actual page. So let's jump into the JavaScript file and write some actual code here. So first we have to target these all fields in the JavaScript file: username, email and password. You have to select these all fields in the JavaScript file. So I'm targeting this field using name. Okay, let's target these values. Let username name here, and document dot get element by names, and the name is username. I provided all the names and different values. You can see that name is a username, email field is a email, and the password field was a password. So we have targeted this value using this. And if I console this username here, username. So this, so the when you are using this attribute, this will generate an array for this will generate an array. And if I show you, you can see that we got an array which is called a node list, and we got our first values input username. Okay, so first, and you know that, and you know that when you are working with arrays, you have and you know that if you are working with array, you have to select the first element, then you have to use 0. And if I show you, you can we can see you can see that I got the input tag. Okay, so now let's comment out this and target all other input fields. So let's go with let's replicate this 2 times and change this value here, username into. So you can see that if I uncomment this and print all of these values, email and the password, so you can see that in the console we got all of these values. हमको क्या मिल गया, हमको जितने भी हमारे इनपुट टैग्स थे वो हमको सबके सब मिल गए जावास्क्रिप्ट के अंदर. So now let's talk about this function. You can see that on submit, you can see that in the on submit I am returning a value is called form validate. When you are using a return statement in your on submit, so means your function will generate some values, like a boolean values which is true and false. When the returning value was true, your form has been submitted, and your form value was false, your form was not submitted. If I show you one example. First we declare this function here, form validate. Okay, this is the arrow function, and make sure your spelling was right. Maybe check it. Okay, spelling was right. Okay, so if I return the value is true and go to the website and close this console here, and you can see that if I add some values here, kane@gmail.com, and add some password here and submit this form, so you can see that my form was submitted. All the data was blank, all the input field was blank. But if I change the value into false, so and if I again fill up this data .com, and you can see that I'm click on the submit button, but this form was not submitted because of this value. Okay, so the return value is more important for form validation. So now we will create some condition using if else condition and check these values. So let's create if else condition, and I'm checking the first value is I'm targeting the first error was if username was blank, we will generate an error, please enter the data. Okay, we will check username was empty or not. So let's target the username and dot value, and we are checking the username dot value was blank. So now what we can do, we can add some data inside this paragraph tag. You can see that this paragraph was blank, so now we will add some data using JavaScript. Let's target this tag in the JavaScript using their ID. So let's target here and change document.get element by ID and pass this ID here, and I'm gonna change the inner HTML of this paragraph tag, and the text is please enter name. Okay, and also create a boolean variable for the return values. Go with val. Okay, I'm pass this value here too, and return val, change the value is in false. Okay, when this condition was true, username value is equal to blank, so we can change the inner HTML of this ID, and show this error message on the page and change the return value also. Okay, and at the last we can return the return value. ठीक है, अब इससे क्या होगा कि ये हमारा फंक्शन कुछ ना कुछ रिटर्न करेगा, तो ये इस वैल्यू को रिटर्न करेगा। अभी ये ट्रू है और यहाँ पर ये फॉल्स हो गई, तो यानी कि जो इसकी स्टेट थी वो चेंज हो गई। तो अब ये जो हमारा फंक्शन है वो फॉल्स रिटर्न कर रहा है, मतलब आवर फॉर्म वाज नॉट सबमिटेड बिकॉज दिस फंक्शन रिटर्न आ फॉल्स वैल्यू। ओके, got it. Refresh this page and if I leave this field was blank, so you can see that we got an error message on the right side of the submit button, and add some password here. So you can see that please enter name. This field was not to be empty. This will also generate an error like this. So now let's handle the second error when user adds some invalid details like this. We will handle this error also. So let's replicate this and go with else if, and we can change the length of this value, the length length. If the length of this value is greater than 10, I'm using 10 because I don't want to write manually more than values like 20, 25. Okay, you can change this value according to your perspective, what you want, and change this error message here. Please enter a valid data. Okay, and again the return value was false when this condition was true. When this condition was true, this return value was false and my form was not submitted. Okay, if I try to add some value like this greater than 10, and if I provide a valid mail address and also here, so you can see that please enter a valid data. This error was handled, and if I try to submit, if I try to submit this form again, changing this value, my form was not submitted because our form validated function returning a false. I also fixed this problem. I will handle the error of this password field. Okay, so let's check out and go with else if, and inside the else if I am checking the password dot value if the password value is equal to blank. So again we can do that same and change this error message, please enter password. And I am not handle the validation of this email field because this is automatically generated by the HTML. If I try to add some value like this, so you can see that please include an @ in the email address, and if I use the @, so you can see that if I try to, you can see that this is incomplete message. So this error message generated by the HTML. If you try to leave this blank, so you can see that if you try to leave this field blank, so you can see that they will generate this message. And if you want to go this types of message, so you can use the require keyword in your HTML. You can see that I'm using a require keyword. When you are using the require keyword in the email, so they will automatically check this email form validation. Okay, so our password was completed. Okay, so now let's fix the final problem here. If I go with kn@gmail.com and password, and if I submit this form, you can see that my form was submitted. And what happened if I leave this value here and go with this gmail.com, and if I add some password, you can see that this will generate a message because I'm using a invalid details. But if I change this value and try to again submit it, my form was not submitted. So let's fix this problem here and go with else part. Inside the else, what happened when my form detail was valid? So we will remove this error message here and change this return value into true, and then my form was submitted. If I again do that same, so you can see that my form was submitted here. You can see that we got an error, but if I change this value here and try to submit, you can see that my form was submitted and the error message was gone. So my final problem was also be fixed. But in my case, I'm using only 3 fields, but in your case you can use the many fields and You can also do that different types of form validation, like your password must be in 6 character, your password must be some special character like this. I am not covering all the parts in this video, because the motive of this video is to clear the concept of your form validation. And guys, if you learned something new from this video, then please hit the button and subscribe this channel for more videos. I'll see you next time in the next video. Bye bye.